The situation in Marjeh is trending in a positive direction, according to Pentagon Press Secretary Geoff Morrell. He briefed reporters Thursday on Operation Moshtarak, underway in the Helmand province.
It looks as though much of Marjeh is now under Afghan and coalition control, and that the locals have been very welcoming of us. Many of them are returning their homes. The number of internally displaced people who are signing up for assistance from the government is diminishing each day as more and more people return to their homes. Bazaars are open again, and they are full, I'm told, of goods, which speaks to the fact that there is clearly a freedom of movement that allows commerce to reemerge.
Mr. Morrell cautioned that it is still a dangerous situation in Helmand, and the biggest threat to troops continue to be IEDs. U.S. and allied commanders say they're seeing signs of progress in the central part of Afghanistan's Helmand province. Operation Moshtarak began in the region on February 13th, and officials say bridges and roads are being repaired, but commanders say roadside bombs still remain the greatest threat to security forces.
The direct contact has reduced considerably, but there's still an enormous IED threat out there. And again, this area has been prepared, frankly, for some time with IEDs. So we will continue to move deliberately and to protect the population, but also to protect the Afghan and Marine forces that are in here.
Officials also say new patrol bases are being established as Afghan forces begin to take on greater authority in Marjeh and Nadi Ali. Defense Secretary Robert Gates traveled to Capitol Hill Thursday to meet with 40 senators as a part of ongoing outreach efforts. Following that meeting, the secretary returned to the Pentagon to welcome Israel Defense Minister Ehud Barak. The two discussed ballistic missile defense, the Middle East peace process, and Iran's nuclear program. Last night, Secretary Gates was honored at the Nixon Center's annual Distinguished Services Awards dinner. During his acceptance speech, the Defense Secretary called for more emphasis on training, advisory, and support missions in the U.S. military to assist America's allies around the world.
Within the military, advising and mentoring indigenous security forces is moving from the periphery of institutional priorities, where it was once considered the province of special forces, to a key mission for the armed forces as a whole.
Secretary Gates pointed to the success of building up the Iraqi security forces, saying the training missions there and in Afghanistan are now getting the leadership, resources, and personnel they deserve. Secretary of the Army John McHugh and Army Chief of Staff General George Casey continued their congressional testimony on the Defense Authorization Request for Fiscal Year 2011. During an appearance Thursday in front of the Senate Armed Services Committee, Secretary McHugh said despite much gain, the stress on soldiers and families is all too real.
The proposed 2011 budget rightly focuses on those initiatives that support those soldiers and families and civilians. The submission requests $1.7 billion in 2011 to standardize and fund those vital programs and services.
This 11 budget contains the procurement funding to finish the modular conversion that we began in 2004 and the growth that we began in 2007.
Also testifying on the budget request Thursday, Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus, Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Gary Roughead, and Commandant of the Marine Corps General James Conway. They're appearing at a hearing of the Senate Armed Services Committee. Yesterday, they testified on the House side to discuss how the budget will help the Navy and Marine Corps meet their missions. In Haiti, some mail restrictions have been implemented. There is a 25-pound weight limit on packages, and parcels no larger than a priority mailbox should be sent. Meanwhile, U.S. paratroopers will start to return Thursday. Southcom announced that it is redeploying the 1st Squadron 73rd Cavalry Regiment, 2nd Brigade Combat Team, 82nd Airborne Division. The group has been in Haiti since that devastating earthquake struck January 12th. Relief efforts are now taking on a new focus, and responsibilities transferred to United Nations, NGOs, and non-Department of Defense agencies. We've got a special half-hour program on Haiti coming up later this week. Haiti Quake, in their own words, premieres Friday at 13:30 Eastern. You'll also be able to find it on PentagonChannel.mil. USS Freedom helped seize more than quarter of a ton of cocaine from a high-speed vessel Monday. The littoral combat ship was conducting counter-illicit trafficking operations in the Western Caribbean Sea when it spotted the Go Fast vessel. The crew on board that vessel reportedly tried to dump the drugs into the sea. It then entered Colombian waters, and the Colombian Navy took over tracking and pursuit. Coming up ahead on Around the Services, challenging youth will show you another side to the National Guard. Plus, a task force created to assess the Department of Defense's sexual assault program returns to Capitol Hill. Stick around. Staff Sergeant Josh Hauser is back with more.